How you doing? Let's run through the markets quick, and we'll get through to the important stuff here. Hang on a second. I want to make sure my gate is closed. It is not. And now it is. We have disturbing news today. A couple of them. Alan Osmond, the leader of the Osmond brothers, who was not my favorite, but he was certainly the most handsome of all of those Osmonds, because they all kind of look the same. And passed away yesterday, surrounded by his family, which is the way it should be, right? But he was young. He was like 76 or something, so he wasn't really old. Too bad, because it looked like they kept themselves in shape, but he was out of shape, if that picture was anything to me. Anyways, my favorite Osmond, I think his name was Wayne. He was the next one down. And he was more the caretaker of Donny Osmond, who was the young one, although Jimmy was the youngest, but they didn't perform together typically. Donny, at that time, Donny was pretty much it. And, it was hard for Donny to go through the growing up of, passing into manhood. And I think they were all pretty supportive, but Wayne was particularly so. And he, told Donny if there's anything... Anytime that he needed to talk to somebody, he was there for him, and I do believe that. I believe he was a good man, and I think Wayne was the best of the Osmonds. Now, on top of that, we've got something equally distressing, and that is we have a bunch of leftists, and even some of the leftists here would not like this to go through in England. They would not like this to go through. Our leftists. Let me read you the story. It is disturbing, to say the least. Let's just read this to you. UK bans smoking for anyone born after 2008. Landmark legislation developing. Okay, we've got this feudal system of lords and whatever here, nobles and lords and whatever. Okay, I don't know if this is... I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to read you the important things. Okay, let me see what it says here. Okay, smoking banned for anyone after 2008 as landmark legislation clears Parliament. Parliament being a cigarette, ironically, right? And this is going to also be for vaping, too, evidently. Children aged 17 or under will face a lifelong ban on buying cigarettes in the landmark bill, which hopes to make a smoke-free generation. The tobacco and vapes bill passed through Parliament today, and it will make it illegal for anyone born after 2008 to buy tobacco from a tobacco shop. Both the Commons and Lords have approved the final draft of the legislation. The bill is part of a series which reforms designed to combat the health effects of smoking, which is one of the top causes of preventable death. Driving cars fast, I would have an easier time calling for a death penalty for people who do violently dangerous thing on the roads, driving, than this. And I know that comes as a shock to you people, but I'm a God and you're not. You understand? I know how dangerous it is to pass people at 2 or 3 inches off their bumpers when they're doing 30, 40, 50, 60 miles or more above your speed. See, I understand. You don't. This is all going somewhere, and I'll bring you up to speed on it. I doubt many of you, except for my subs, know what this is all about. Most of them probably know already. Other measures include an expansion of smoke-free laws, making it illegal to vape in cars carrying children. I kind of agree with that. You should be smoking in the car with your kids. I kind of agree with that. But not a blanket banning of cigarettes. Making it illegal to vape in cars carrying children outside schools and hospitals. vaping outside hospitals will still be allowed as a way to support those trying to quit. So they're going to violently sodomize you anally, and it's going to be okay to put on a little bit more KY jelly for you so that they understand. Folks, this is so sick. It's so sick. Pub gardens, you see, when I used to live in Ohio, they used to call them beer gardens. Bars were beer gardens, at least in the Slavic areas. Pub gardens, beaches, private outdoor spaces, and other outdoor hospitality spaces are also not included in the measure. Brits will still be able to smoke and vape inside their homes. Well, that's comforting to know. But I think what they should do is put up these little sniffing, AI sniffing devices, and if they smell tobacco, look out, okay? Look out. Wes Streeting, nice name, Wes, called the bill a historic moment for national health and said he is hoping the children will be the first smoke-free generation. Okay. Secretary of State of Health added, quote, prevention is better than cure. This reform will save lives, ease pressure on the NHS, National Health Care, whatever it is, and build a healthier Britain. Now, the Brits have already been sodomized. They were told to go in by Neil Ferguson during the scam, the COVID-19 scam, and after they sodomized them in their arm, the sodomy in the arm, you know, the poke, after they were sodomized with that, they told them that wasn't good enough and that they all needed to retreat to their flat and houses, where they would be told when to come out when it was safe, because it was just entirely too safe to be outside of your flat. The mastermind of this, the one that they used virtually all the information for, was Neil Ferguson. He was a microbiologist predictor. Predicted up to 500,000 Brits would die. Therefore, he convinced, at the time they had a King of England, it wasn't like it is now. And that was like 5-6 years ago. His name was Boris Spassky. And Neil Ferguson convinced the King of England, Boris Spassky, to get everybody by mandate and by lawful order into their homes and flats, and only to come out after they were told it was safe. You folks think I'm kidding. It's because you're a bunch of fucking mindless idiots. You don't understand anything because you only listen to what you're sodomized into to listening. What happened? Neil Ferguson, the mastermind of all of this, on the first night that everybody was told to stay in, he sent for his married open marriage girlfriend, who was quite the dish, I might add, to come over to his flat or laboratory or wherever the fuck he was. And he did the hibbity-dibbity with her while everybody was locked in their flats. I know, folks, you don't believe me because you're mindless, stupid ignoramuses. You want me to tell you? And it worked well until the next morning when they found out what he did, and they spilled the beans, and then the Bobbies had a hard time. Bobbies are the police with the whistle and the ukulele or whatever it is that they carry around these days, whatever it was. Billy Club, whatever it is. Harp. I don't know what they carry around now, but at the time I think it was a whistle. And they made a lot of threats telling people to go back in their home, and they said, well, we can't come out. But you get to go, I'm sorry, I keep misleading you. You're allowed to get your married open marriage girlfriend to come over so you can have a little bang session right there, right? A little bump and grind session with your married open marriage girlfriend there, Neil Ferguson. And you decided to resign immediately after they found out that you did it. Folks, don't be a jerk load. It was just as dangerous just because the guy who predicted the Great Death and told you for hours and hours how dangerous this was, just because he wasn't afraid of it and had his girlfriend come over to do the bump and poke, it doesn't mean that it wasn't real. That's what you stupid idiots don't understand. It was real. He was just extra stupid, like you. You will never get me to believe that because I know a huck when I see one. And you can thank Boris Spassky because he was the one who made the final thing. You may not remember Boris Spassky. I do. And I'm going to show you a picture of both of these fucking clowns. All right? Neil Ferguson, mastermind of the lockdowns. Professor Neil Ferguson. So this is the one here, Mega Dork, in case you didn't know. The guy that his open marriage girlfriend, he was equally fucking dork as this stupid dork, and spent so many lectures trying to tell us all that we were going to die. Actually, not we. I'm in America, but this was in England. The British, fortunately, were allowed to just be temporarily castrated. They did get to hold on to their member, but it was just put out of use for practicality. Okay? Professor Neil Ferguson of Imperial College of London authored a paper that prompted the UK to scrap its coronavirus strategy. Ferguson team warned Boris Spassky that the quest for, quote, herd immunity would cost 510,000 lives, prompting a abrupt U-turn. His simulations have been influential in other countries. During the scam, Ferguson caught COVID-19 himself. Around the same time, a wave of infection swept 10 Downing Street, hospitalizing Johnson. A competing model from the University of Oxford and some criticism from contemporaries is casting a shadow on his work. Here's what we know about Professor Lockdown. Was it going to tell us about how he was butt-fucking his girlfriend the night that they put everybody into lockdown? Are they going to tell us that? No. You want to see his girlfriend? You want to see his girlfriend? Let's have a look at his girlfriend. He immediately, he was nicknamed Dr. Lockdown. What was the name of the open married mistress of Neil Ferguson, mastermind of the lockdowns? Antonia Siatz. Who's her husband? Well, I bring you only the important stuff here. Okay, a top coronavirus scientist whose advice led to the UK into lockdown has resigned from his government's position after he was caught breaking social distance rules to meet his married lover. Open marriage. She was in an open marriage, actually, so could consider her married. Campaigner Antonia Stats. Let's have a look at Antonia, and you can see why if you could get past the mouthful of mumblings of the British there. I'm not sure I could, strong as my libido is, but I could imagine I'd have a little round with that or two, okay? They're probably not, and there he is, the one that caused all the Brits to go into their flats. I do not make things up, I tell you the truth on this channel. A lot of you are so stupid and ignorant, you don't even know about this. But if you knew about this, just like now, you might say, I would go out and fight the Bobbies to make sure that I could have my freedom to come out of my house and not be locked down anymore. But he would have kept you in there, but when they found out about his butt-fucking adventures with his open married little dish there, the Brits said, whoa! Whoa! And then they said, we're coming out, ready or not, here we come, so to speak. Fucking retards. What's wrong with you people? I come out here, I've been talking about this for 5 years. And you people are even more dumb than before. Can you imagine the British, what they have to say about this? Well, he was a good bloke. He's a good bloke. He's trying to look out for us, right? You fucking stupid retards. Jesus fucking Christ. This is her. As you get closer, she doesn't start looking too good anymore. All right. So, anyways, where are we going with this? I'm going to cut this short, okay? We're going to cut this short. We'll save the news for tomorrow. They are now trying to make it illegal to buy cigarettes. If you know your history, you will know that this is very similar to what they called, I can't remember the name of it, okay? Begins with a P, Prohibition. And what that did was, because they're saying that smoking causes a lot of problems, and it does, makes massive health issues, of course. But the same can be said for alcohol consumption, and that's exactly what they did in 29 or 23? I forget when it was. I think it was 1923. And the religious people got together, and all of these doctors and everything got together, and they said, we cannot have anybody drinking anymore. They made it illegal to drink and buy drinks, or get alcohol, period, or sell it. And what happened? A $40,000 investment split up between 3 aggressive mobsters. Could get you a boat, you could go to one of the islands, you could pick up alcohol, and you could make 15 times your money. And I'm not making that up. 10 times your money. Because they knew people, if they wanted a shot of booze, they would be plenty willing to pay 10 times or 20 times the cost of it. They knew this. That's what happened. And they wound up having the bad gang wars of the late 20s and early 30s. It was particularly bad in Chicago. Particularly, you had Al Capone. He had so many police officers paid off. It was hard to say if they would, the federal agents, the federales there, would be able to take the country back, and the cops, because there were so many paid off. But they did. They finally got control back of the country, and they put an end to prohibition. That's why this won't work. And if this goes through, it's only a matter of time before they make you take... stand by a second, folks. How do? Good. Do they know you're coming? I'm going to let you through. 628? I know I've seen your truck before. It's not coming up on the system, but I've seen it before. I know we are. I am sorry, folks. I am trying to keep up with the Joneses here. And hard for me to reattach here to the conversation. Let me just put it to you this way. In England there, don't be surprised if you have to take rectal testing. Okay? This will be, the anal rectal testing will be the most accurate way to see if you've been ingesting cigarette smoke. And if it's not you, they may have to give you a kind of a cross-examination of who it is that's smoking in your home, thereby getting to the root of the problem. You're mindless garbage, filth, garbage. How in the world can you British put up with this? How can you do it? Wasn't it bad enough to be castrated during Neil Ferguson and his butt banging his open marriage girlfriend? You didn't learn anything from that? You didn't learn from Boris Spassky or King of England? Folks, I have had it up the ear with, as they say in England, with her up the ear with the Brits. Somebody's going to have to stand up and be a ram among the sheep. Honest to God. Don't be surprised to be given mandatory tests to rule you out from smoking. And making if you do get caught with high levels of smoke in your body, then be prepared to go through a cross-examination to turn in the people that are the criminals that are smoking in your presence. Folks, this is too stupid to talk about. Take care. I will see you tomorrow. This is the news. And once again, we have the castrated British men and women, to be fair, putting up with this horse shit. Don't you know anything about history? Don't you know how Al Capone got its start? $60,000, $70,000 worth of alcohol brought in from islands, and they took over Chicago, Illinois. They took over Chicago. And it wasn't just one gang, it was multiple gangs. And they fought with each other. And it was terrible because it just was. It was ridiculous. You were a simple shopkeeper, and somebody would walk into your store and say, you know what, when's the last time somebody broke your window? And they'd say, well, we don't have that problem. He'd say, well, you might. So you give us $15 a week and we'll make sure that never happens. And then they paid it if they knew it was good for them. And then you thought the problems were over, and then you had a competing gang that came over and said, look, Lefty there, the one that you dealt with, that they're not running the show anymore. Now we're running the show here. So now you have to give this new guy the money. And the guy that you were paying off before. Folks, you're stupid, mindless jackasses. You don't learn, you're ignoramuses, and you won't listen. Come to this channel. Don't be afraid to worship me as a God. It will do you good. It will save you. It's actually what it will do. And you'll learn and get smart, and you won't be an ignoramus anymore. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Sorry for this disjointed newscast. I was interrupted numerous times. Bye-bye. Subscribe, be nobody, and I will see you tomorrow.